Welcome to the Windy City Rundown. There it is. Hey, what's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Windy City Rundown with Jose Contreras. I am Eric Avila, and we have the best news I think we could possibly have throughout the whole entire week. I think it's the best news we could possibly have for the whole entire offseason. I guess it's none other than the Chicago Bears finally look like a big boy organization today, Jose, as they hired the most covenant offensive coordinator for this entire offseason and Ben freaking Johnson of the Detroit Lions. And it was a how should I say this? I guess it was a beautiful sight to see reading the reports earlier in the afternoon, Jose, that the Chicago Bears and Ben Johnson agreed to terms, and now Ben Johnson's our new head coach for our beloved Chicago Bears, bro. First off, how are you today, my guy?
What's up, Eric? Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually pretty happy. A lot happier than I thought I would be, for sure. Here's a bit of nugget. I'm gonna start off this for everybody. The last time the Bears hired a coach on January 20th, that coach went on to win the World Series in 1985. So
World Series or Super Bowl?
Super Bowl in 1985.
It's okay.
So what does that tell you, Eric?
That there's hope for the Chicago Bears, my guy.
History is going to repeat itself.
It looks like it. It looks like the Chicago Bears are they're just providing hope at the moment, man. It's something that we would have been looking for. Something that I guess that when we did the last show that we had a couple of weeks ago, we had like little faith to like no confidence in the Chicago Bears of actually getting this right. And you guys can join us on our StreamYard. If you guys want to join the conversation, the link is in our comment section. Link is in the bio. Make sure you guys follow us too as well on all our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Hey, TikTok is back, by the way, guys. That was a quick turnaround, right? Yeah, just make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms and join our conversation, guys. We know you're happy. I'm a little excited. Jose is a lot excited. You know, it feels again like how I start off the show, the Bears, and it says on our title of the show, "Welcome to the NFL, Chicago Bears." And this really feels like the Bears finally have put their big boy pants on and finally did something that seems right at the moment, right? That feels right at the moment, right? That just gives us that bittersweet feeling like the organization finally looks like it's turning the corner and joining the NFL, today's NFL, and getting an offensive head coach for the Chicago Bears for your young quarterback. It should have been done last year. It wasn't. The Bears are just a year removed from doing all this. But it looks right. It seems right. It feels right. And Ben Johnson was the guy, and we got the guy that we all wanted it for since November of the firing of Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you feel? What do you say?
Oh man, it's like I said, it's weird. It's weird only because of what we're used to. We're not used to the Bears going after the obvious choice. We're not used to the Bears from the outside looking in, looking like they did something right, Eric. And that's exactly what it feels like. We all knew Ben Johnson was the number one guy out there that everybody wanted. And it seemed like with the Bears and them interviewing 15, 16, 17 different candidates, it's like, how are they going to make time for all this? And lo and behold, as soon as Ben Johnson was available, literally days after his team was bounced from the playoffs, they not only swooped in. I mean, they made it happen. I don't know how much they offered him. Who cares? I mean, we knew going in that he was going to be expensive. You gotta give credit to George McCaskey. You gotta give credit to Warren. You gotta give credit to Poles because they did exactly everything they needed to do in that interview process and beyond to get Ben Johnson to want to come here. And that's a lot. That's the one thing I don't think people are realizing here. He had options, and yes, we have the quote unquote better quarterback, maybe the most upside. But at the end of the day, if the Bears weren't going to pay him, if they weren't going to give him the years he wanted, it wasn't going to work out. So they did something there. They said something in those interviews to make him choose Chicago, and that's a win. That's a win.
100%. And the crazy part about it is that they did it. His only interview with the Chicago Bears was a Zoom interview. It wasn't even face to face. That's even more credit for the Chicago Bears and what they did in doing this whole entire process. A very weird process, to say the least. Right? They only interviewed one person and face to face, and that was Mike McCarthy, who, I mean, it wasn't a sexy pick, but it felt like a Bears pick, like a very vanilla pick, right? I don't think it would have been a wrong pick anyways in my eyes personally, for obvious reasons, right? Mike McCarthy being the head coach, but we don't have to go down that path. We're going down the path of where the Chicago Bears are now highly confident and finally getting the right guy for literally getting the right guy for the job, right? Is it a perfect situation? No, definitely not. The Chicago Bears are far from perfect, right? But this is a start. This is a starter for the Chicago Bears to be in that perfect situation of getting your offensive guy, honing and grooming your quarterback, your young quarterback in this time. And also it gives the opportunity for Ryan Poles to I guess amends his mistake. I guess it's the right word we could say, Jose, right? Like for him to like actually, I wouldn't want to say cover up, but definitely fix the problems that he created with the Chicago Bears within the last year and a half. And he has a lot of work. And I think him and Ben Johnson are going to be toe to toe. It doesn't matter how much money he's going to spend. The Chicago Bears, they need to be, Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears organization need to be on the same level in making this want to grow for the Chicago Bears for the future, and becoming hopefully a successful organization, because the Bears are having struggles to find success, period, within the last 20 years, my guy. And this is the start. This is the start of the right direction for the Chicago Bears, heading into that direction of finally finding some type of success in the NFL. Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube. Guys, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. The link is in the comment section if you guys want to join the conversation. The Ben Johnson is now the new head coach of the Chicago Bears, and they finally joined the big leagues. The Chicago Bears finally did something right. The Chicago Bears finally did something that, have a big boy organization. The Bears are what feels like at the moment are in business and being that team and just join. We could definitely have this conversation about Ben Johnson. The last time we saw him perform over the weekend in the NFL playoffs, we'll get into a little bit later. But over the weekend, man, it felt. I don't know. For me, I had a bad taste in my mouth about him being a head coach for the Chicago Bears for the time being, Jose. But I don't think that affected you as much as it did me, right?
Repeat that one more time. You were breaking up.
Oh, sorry. I said it. I felt like you didn't get a sour taste in your mouth about Ben Johnson, his performance, and his play calling over the weekend against the Washington Commanders, right? After him being hired for the Bears head coach,
there was some questionable stuff. I try. See, me personally, Eric, I'm not a fan of those trick plays where they have the wide receivers throw. I mean, we've seen Jameson Williams trying to do that and threw an interception. When it costs you, I get it. Look, he had to go deep into his bag of tricks because they were down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, well, I don't know. Look, I'm indifferent about it. Me personally, look, I feel like we could do without it. But if that's him, be him. The one thing I can say about stuff like that is that he has the balls to do it. You know what I mean? Like, and if it's gonna cost you a game, sure. But let's be honest, they were down already anyways. They were struggling a lot. Not to mention, I don't put too much blame on Ben Johnson when it comes to the Lions because there was so much around like going into that game, like them being hurt defensively.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Dan Campbell has all he makes all the decisions when it comes to timeouts and everything and just managing the game. Ben Johnson is in charge of the playbook. What is being ran offensively? So I don't blame him one bit. The fact that he even has stuff like that to go into to try to shift the momentum or try to, do whatever it takes, I guess, for his team to win. That I like. That's fine. That's great, and keep that up. You know what I mean? Be innovative. Come in here. Don't be afraid to be you. And I get it.
Okay, Nagy.
Plays like that's gonna work, and then plays like that's not gonna work. I get it. I understand 100%. So no, to answer your question, I don't. None of it turned me off. If anything, I think it's a good thing because, like I said, he's not afraid to be himself.
No, you're absolutely right, and again, it just gave me a sour taste in my mouth, especially how the game just went overall. Obviously, he's not the one that threw the picks, right? He wasn't the one that caused the turnovers. He wasn't the one. He just called it what was in his playbook. Excuse me. He just called whatever was on his playbook, and then it was up to the players.
Yep.
And in all honesty, yeah, you're absolutely right. It shouldn't, but it did. But again, what you said is also true as well. He could go deep in his bag and find plays that will actually help out the Chicago Bears. The one thing that I just don't want to happen for the Chicago Bears in the first year under Ben Johnson is the fact that you know what I mean? And I get it, it's part of being Ben Johnson, is him being him. And you're absolutely right. But I don't want that first year. I don't want that to be the Chicago Bears without them having some type of success whatsoever. I need them to be good first before they start doing this. And I know I may sound like an old head, a meathead, or whatever the case may be, like get off my lawn type of guy, dude. But at the same time, it's like we need to be serious first before we even start doing something like that, even start having fun. I don't even think there's an opportunity for the Chicago Bears to even have to do those trick plays with the schedule that they have next year, bro. Like, and it depends on how they have it. And it's funny because on the text chain that you, me, and John still have. Go ahead.
No, I was like, you do kind of sound like an old man. Get off my lawn. Like I said, you do sound like an old man. Get off my lawn. Type of. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But Eric, I don't think Ben Johnson's going to be that guy to come in and just start doing trick plays left and right. I think he knows that, hey, I got to get this. This team is nowhere near the team they have in Detroit. We don't have an O-line. We don't have the two dynamic running backs that they have over there. So I think he knows that. I think he's aware of that. So I think once established, then we're able to do something like that. But it all depends. Let's look away from those trick plays because he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it very often. Okay, and let's look at everything else everything else he does right. At the very least, right? His offense this season was first in scoring. They were second in points and yards per game. They were top 10 in every offensive statistical category there is. And that's not all trick plays. There's a lot this guy does. He commits to the running game, and that's something the Bears just can't do. The Bears they try to commit to the running game, but they just successfully can't do it. He does it, and yes, he has Jahmyr Gibbs, and yes, he has David Montgomery. But I feel like it's all about scheming and the O-line, and I think bringing in Ben Johnson, you're letting everybody know but more importantly, your team, that we are going to be an offensive first team because the coach is offensive minded. So that being said, I know Ben Johnson knows exactly what to bring in. Him and Ryan Poles are going to work together. They're going to get that O-line revamped. They're going to get some running backs in here that are going to be able to play his style of football. And we're going to slowly but surely start seeing. The thing is about this year coming up, you're right, we do have a tough schedule. And I don't know. Look, I'm not going into this season like we did last season thinking, we're going to go to the playoffs. We're going to win 11, 10, 12 games. I am predicting 4, 5, 6 wins. At the same time, all I care is that we're developing. We know we have a good coach who's going to come in and is going to implement his style as long as we see that, because you you could try to get it all done in one offseason, and if you're the Commanders, you can. You see how they did it, but
Yeah.
that's not every team. So realistically, I'm looking at this as at least 2 or 3 window for this team to start humming the way it should be. This
Yeah,
year,
and
we
you say that, but then
Right.
also it goes down to that conversation. Like, then why'd you get him in the first place? Like, if the Bears somehow don't, like, we get it. Everybody's gonna sound how I sounded this year, next year. That all I want is the offense to look somewhat decent, Caleb to look this is and that. That's how everybody's gonna sound this upcoming season for the Chicago Bears. Sounding like me how it was last season. But the thing about it though, it's like, when will it be the next? When will it be okay for the Bears to succeed? Because Ryan Poles desperately needs to have some type of a successful season. He went from a 7-win season to a 5-win season in 1 year. And
Easy,
he's on
right?
the hot seat too as well.
The
And
answer is easy.
I get the hiring of Ben Johnson,
But hold on,
but
but the answer is easy. The answer to that is when they have a complete offense. You can't look. You're gonna have to heavily draft offensive linemen and defensive linemen,
yeah,
and then you're gonna have to develop them and or bring them. If there's any good ones who are already developed, you're gonna bring in through free agency. But I don't know about all that. And that's the
right,
thing. We all went into that because we were hyped about Caleb Williams. Now we know Caleb Williams is the guy. But as you can see, Caleb Williams still can't get nothing done if he only has a second to throw. If guys are
yeah,
already in his face or even half a second to throw, he was the most sacked quarterback in the entire league this year.
by a landslide.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, to answer your question, like, of course we're going to come into that because we don't have no line. If once we get that addressed and they start to show us, hey, this offensive line is actually legit, then 100%, okay, now there's no excuse. Caleb Williams
Right.
has time to throw, help him. Then I'm with you. But you can't sit here and just automatically think they're going to go ahead and bring in all these different guys and it's going to be successful right away. You got to first figure out if they're going to pan out, and you got to get that system rolling.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like everybody's gonna have, once again, they're gonna fall into that trap of lofty expectations now that we have Ben Johnson and now that we have Caleb Williams, and what literally, I guess, what's literally sometime or what's kind of hurting the Bears right now at the moment is that Jaden Daniels is in the NFC title game, and they want Caleb Williams to be like that already. You know what I mean? And I think that's where, like, a lot of people are gonna have this conversation, like, oh, imagine if we had Jaden Black. Like, I could already hear it, and it's already annoying in my head. But the one thing that we have to focus on is the Bears are going to be the Bears, and we need to focus on the Chicago Bears and not the outside noise. As our boy CP joins us here on the Windy City Underground, guys, the link is in the comment section if you guys want to join us. Go on and click. The Ben Johnson is now the new head coach of the Chicago Bears. Everybody's been wanting him since the offseason. Join us in the comments like CP did. He said Dino Wright and Tevin Jenkins are solid pieces provided they stay healthy. 100%. And that's your right side right there, your right tackle and your right guard. Now you need to find a center, a left tackle, and a left guard. And it's easy. You can say that. And we came into the season last year, Jose, saying that the Chicago Bears are probably like the most scariest offense out there, with Roma Dunze getting drafted number 9 overall, with DJ Moore getting his new contract, with trading Keenan Allen for a 3rd-round pick last year and him solidifying. Unfortunately, they got DeAndre Swift. I wasn't a big fan of it. He really didn't do anything. He was very iffy this whole entire season. But they were highly talented on the offensive side of the ball. They were just badly coached. And what CP says, right, we have solid pieces provided they stay healthy. But even then, like, you still need depth. You still need a backup for both of them. You still need to find your starting center, right, and your center, left, and left tackle and left guard. You still need to find backups to them too as well to sustain that success too. And then after all of that, what else? What else is needed? Because the defensive line sucks too as well. Like, there's no support for Montez Sweat whatsoever on the other side of the ball, on the other side of the line. We can sit here and say, like, oh yeah, the Chicago Bears need pieces. They need a lot more pieces. But I mean, at the same time, this is just going to be a very complicated, complex season because we're going to expect so much, and I feel like we're all going to be let down some way, somehow, or people are going to let themselves up and have that hype once again because the Bears are just where they're supposed to be, like in the middle of the field.
Yeah. Look, look the the Bears
It's
did this.
complicated.
The Bears did this to us.
Yeah, we did.
We're reluctant. It's like we're like that guy or girl who got their heart broken, cheated on, and
We're not.
now we're getting into a different relationship, without healing. Basically, we're going into another relationship without healing. So now we're just worried about getting our heart broken again, and that's literally it's just trauma. It's trauma. We're all going through trauma. It's exactly what it is. So I understand where you're coming from. I understand the narrative, and honestly, that's healthy. Let us go into this season cautious because we
Right.
went gung ho last season, and look where that got us: more heartbreak, more trauma, more deceit. Like it's just we're like I don't blame Bears fans, and I feel like a lot of fans are going to do this. They're going to come in, wait and see. We're going to be we're happy that the Bears finally got the obvious choice. We're happy that the number one name out there in the coaching free agency, we end up getting that person. The one person every team wanted, we got it. That feels great, right? But at the same time, it's like we got our hearts broken so many times before. We just can't go in, thinking this is going to be different. So I get what you're saying. That's the mindset I'm going in. I'm wait and see mode. I'm going to be, of course, every Bear season. Of course, I'm going to be excited. But at the same time, I'm just, there's no way in hell I'm going with the same kind of hype that I'm going with last season.
Yeah, and that's the tricky part, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have that same feeling too as well. There's going to be a lot of people that are just going to have those high expectations simply because we have a new quarterback. I mean, we don't have a new quarterback. I'm sorry. We have a new head coach with the quarterback that's supposed to be highly touted, and the quarterback that went right after him is in the NFC championship playing this upcoming weekend, which we will get into the playoffs a little bit too as well. And again, I just feel like a lot of people are just going to have these lofty expectations. Once again, I know some of them in this comment section too as well will have those lofty expectations. I know a lot of people are going to look at Caleb Williams now with a critical eye now with a new head coach. It's going to be those. Like I'm gonna hate this offseason for that simple reason, and I know I shouldn't. And just to veer off this conversation, Jose, like how would you feel like if the Bears didn't get Ben Johnson and went the Mike McCarthy route? Let's have that conversation. Let's talk that hypothetically. Like, would you would have been okay if the Bears would have gotten Mike McCarthy if they missed out on Ben Johnson?
I would have to. I guess the only way I can answer that question is, Eric, is I would have to convince myself that he was a good coach. There's stats out there that basically say him and Mike Tomlin are the same coach. And I love Mike Tomlin. I would love Mike Tomlin to be the Bears head coach. And Mike McCarthy has the same exact records, the same exact stats, same exact amount of Super Bowls. It's just, and the difference is he's more of an offensive minded coach compared to Mike Tomlin. So to me, I would have to convince myself, you know what? It's not the worst hire. It's a safe pick. Let's roll with it. So I wouldn't have been completely mad, but I would have been disappointed because again, who was the number one guy that we all wanted? Ben Johnson. So yes, if we didn't get Ben Johnson, we would have got Mike McCarthy again. It's just something I would have settled for. I have no choice but to settle for. I'm a Bears fan. I'm always gonna be a Bears fan. So I would be disappointed, but not truly upset.
Same. ZP said he would have been cool, but still disappointed. Rodgers and Prescott did perform well with McCarthy, but does he move your whole team?
The Cowboys played hard for him. After Dak went down, they played hard for him. So he's a good coach. You don't be a coach in the NFL for that many years with Green Bay, with Dallas, if you're not a good coach. He's a good coach. It's just, in this new era of the NFL, you see all these young up and coming head coaches with different offensive mindsets or just mindsets in general having success. Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell, Dan
Kyle
Campbell, Kyle Shanahan. Exactly. You're seeing all these guys who are having great seasons, great success with these teams. So we want to get a part of that. And the number one guy was Ben Johnson, and we got him. So Now we just got to see what Brian Poles does for him in the offseason. That right now. That's the biggest key.
No, 100%, 110%. You're absolutely right on that part. I mean, and what McCarthy brings is what the Bears need: sustained success. And Mike McCarthy knows how to have double-digit wins. Mike McCarthy knows how to take teams to the playoffs. Mike McCarthy knows how to turn a team around. You're absolutely right. When Dak Prescott went around, Cowboys still found ways to play hard and still win some of these games that they were in last season. And again, I wouldn't have been that disappointed. I would have been okay with it. It would have been just like, okay, you know. But it's something that the Bears never do, and that's hired a head coach who previously has head coaching experience. They have only done it once with John Fox. This is, in all reality, I know you're going to hate what I'm about to say, but it's still the same old Bears doing the same old moves and hiring another head coach with first year experience or with no experience after all with Ben Johnson.
Yes
right?
or no? Yes or no?
Because again, I know where you're going with. That's what I was about to say. It's the same Bears, but it just has a different feeling because of the movement that they went with. Because they went and got the number one guy that's out there in the market in Ben Johnson. That's the only difference. It's still the same move for the Chicago Bears that have been known for the rest of their history. Which to me, again, I wouldn't have minded if Mike McCarthy was the head coach of the Chicago Bears. I would have been okay with it. Vanilla, okay with it, but he's bringing something that we know he has, and that's a winning culture and providing a winning culture for the Chicago Bears.
No, Eric, I don't agree with that because then you're going for a guy who has a high floor. You know what I mean? You're going for the safe pick. You're going for the double when you should be trying to hit a home run out the park.
Dude, what's wrong with a double?
You swing for the fences trying to get the best guy available. I get what you're saying, but that's a safe pick. That is getting Mike McCarthy is the most Bears move ever because you're getting the safe pick. What if you get Mike McCarthy and Ben Johnson goes to a team like the Raiders and they're all of a sudden are a great team, you're gonna regret that. But if you get Ben Johnson and he doesn't pan out, and Mike McCarthy goes to, let's say, the Jets and they play well, I don't think you're gonna regret it as much because again, that was a safe pick to begin with. At least you can say, I went for the home run. I literally went all out. I got the best guy available that everybody is saying, and we failed. And it is what it is. But at least you can hang your head on that. I would rather do that than go for a safe pick, maybe not be able to do much with it, and it's like, okay, well, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know about that, man.
But we're gonna be. Guess what? We're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be having the same conversation in the next 2-3 years. We're gonna have the same conversation how the Bears never get a guy with a head coaching experience.
It will be the same
just because they got the just to put this in Tomato Bar perspective. And shout out to Tomato Bar. Hopefully they sponsor us in our show. If they see us anytime soon, make sure you guys share it. But how they have the flavor of the month, the pizza of the month. You know what I mean? That's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is the pizza of the month.
No,
Ben Johnson is the flavor of the month. And
Ben Johnson was a highly touted coaching candidate since last year. It's not like he was Matt Nagy. When we got Matt Nagy, he was the flavor of the month because he only had 6-7 plays calling the offense, and all of a sudden, because they won the Super Bowl that year, he's flavor of the month. Everybody wants to interview him. Everybody wants to hire him, and he came to the Bears. At least with Ben Johnson, you knew he was he was the number one coach last year, and he ended up staying with the Lions trying to win a Super Bowl this year, and now he's the number one coach coming out again. At least you have years of him actually calling the plays, of him actually being in charge of the offense. That is the difference. And the Bears got him. He chose to come to the Bears. That's why I don't believe he's the flavor of the month. If he was the number one guy that teams wanted last year, remember the Commanders wanted him last year. He chose not to go because he wanted to win a Super Bowl with the Lions, at least try to. Now this year, same story. He's the number one highly touted coach candidate out there, and the Bears got him. But I don't believe that he's the flavor of the month if he's been the highly touted coach in for 2 years now. I don't see that one bit.
I don't know, man. The one thing that I think we all can agree on, you, me, and like the 17 people that have been watching us today so far, thank you guys for joining us, is the fact that we just want the Bears to be successful. And we want the Bears to get it right. I think that's at the end of the day. And I know this pick here, this pick there, that coach here, that coach there. I get that 110%. We don't know if this is going to pan out. We don't know if Mike McCarthy will pan out. We don't know. Right. And that's the unfortunate part and the beauty about it at the same time is that we don't know what kind of Bears we're going to get. We don't know what Ben Johnson is going to be. all we heard and all we've been hearing is that Ben Johnson is a hard-nosed coach, that he'll be in your face, that he'll say a swear word every other word in coaching them. He's gonna drill everybody hard. That's gonna be fine, great, and dandy. Um, but we won't know. And the schedule doesn't favor him one so damn bit. The schedule is gonna be one of the hardest schedules that he's gonna come into.
Second hardest schedule of the entire NFL next year.
Exactly. And for it to be a last place schedule, that's beyond crazy to me. You know what I mean? So it's one of those where it's just like we're just gonna have to sit back, relax, and like you said, you're not gonna give that much high hopes of the Chicago Bears. You're not gonna get your hopes up for the Chicago Bears. It's a wait and see process. To be completely honest with you, when the schedule comes out, I'm gonna pick the Bears to go 0-17. To be completely honest with you, because it's still a wait and see process with Ben Johnson. Yes, it's cool, it's great. The Bears finally look like they're joining the big leagues, but at the same time, it's like we don't know what to expect, bro. And
that's fine. I feel like, and this is why I felt like I wish they would have came in this past offseason with the new head coach, because it's like you have house money. You know what I mean? Like you don't like this year we're going into like with not expecting anything, which is great, because if they over exceed our expectations, then it's like, wow, like here we go. Like, this we weren't expecting this. This is exactly what we want to see. Now let's hope they do better next year. Or they could just come in and wet the bed, and we're just like, well, same old Bears. You know what I mean? Right. I get it. I understand. I get it 100%, but I feel like it's healthier going into the season this way than it was last year.
Right. Now the question is, are you going to have my method of be better than last year, or you're actually going to tame your expectations?
No. I have no expectations whatsoever. Just look competent, basically. Again, I bring this up. I don't know how many times. The year the Lions went like they only had like two. It was like their 2-win season with Dan Campbell. I don't know if it was his first or second year. Yeah. They were very, very competitive each and every game. Every game literally went down to the wire. I am okay with a season like that. I'm okay with a season like that as long as we know that we literally could have been there. Last year was close. There were so many games we were literally down to the wire, one play away from winning. That right there gave me hope, and that was with shitty coaches, inconsistent coaches who end up getting fired mid-season. Oh, that's what Caleb Williams having 3 different play callers. That 100%. Right there tells me that this team is not too far away, as long as they have consistency. Right. So I'm okay with next year them trying to get it down. Maybe they can't really revamp the offensive line as well as we want them to. I'll give them that leeway. But at the same time, we do have to see somewhat spurts, somewhat the expectation should be a little bit, I guess, higher than we wanted to, because at the end of the day, you still have what we call a so-called generational quarterback and a so-called offensive guru. So we should see at least spurts, 1 or 2 drives, maybe 1 or 2 quarters of them being pretty damn good on offense.
I just need them to score in the first quarter or somewhere in their first drive, at least multiple times this upcoming season. That's something that the Bears did not do, or only did once throughout the whole entire season. So again, expectations are not going to be as lofty as they were this past season, but the expectations are going to be held for the Chicago Bears and Ben Johnson, and he is now our new head coach for the Chicago Bears. Same old Bears, different feeling though. Hiring a head coach for the first time. But this feels different. This feels like it's a big boy move because they went out to get the big boy player in Ben Johnson for our Chicago Bears. Jose, moving on from the Chicago Bears. If you want to join us, the link is in the comment. Tell us how you guys feel. Even put it on the comment section too as well. How you guys feel about the Bears getting Ben Johnson? It's a positive move, that's for sure. It's a great move for the Chicago Bears, and a move where the Bears needed to do to become successful, I guess you can say, right? Like Jose said,
real quick,
fences, at least you're trying.
Before we move on from the Bears, I like the reports that I'm hearing about them getting maybe someone like Dennis Allen for their defensive coordinator position. He was a shitty head coach, but he was a really good defensive coordinator, and I feel like getting someone like that with the experience of, I guess, quote unquote, being a head coach is only going to help someone like Ben Johnson. Not to mention Darren Rizzi, the interim head coach for the Saints this past season. reports saying that he's going to come as the special teams coordinator.
Special teams.
I guess again, that's now 2 former head coaches on your staff who are good in their skilled positions. That's only going to help Ben Johnson.
Hey, whether if we get Dennis Allen, Ron Rivera, Lovie Smith, I don't care who it is. I think that the Bears, it's going to be a very interesting offseason for the Chicago Bears and an upgrade in coaching, which they really needed. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. I heard this. I saw the same reports too as well. So let's see what the Chicago Bears are going to be this upcoming season. Jose, the NFL playoffs have been nothing but spectacular this past weekend on divisional weekend. A great game yesterday between the Ravens and the Bills. Obviously, there has to be a winner and a loser on that one. The Bills come up on the positive end and winning that game. A very close game. Mark Andrews dropping a goal line 2-point conversion to tie the game, bro, after he had a very crucial fumble early in the game. You hate to see it, right? But the real question is, now that the Bills advance, we're gonna have the Bills Chiefs once again in a playoff. Is this the year? Is this finally the year that Josh Allen gets over the hump and beats Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl?
It all depends on the NFL and how badly they want Taylor Swift there in the Super Bowl. If I'm being honest. If they feel like, hey, we need Taylor Swift to be in the press box during the Super Bowl, during the biggest game of the year, where you get the most watched, you get the most ratings, you get like it's literally, there's nothing compared to the Super Bowl. The NFL is all about making money. It's all about getting ratings, eye on the prize, and there's no bigger game than the Super Bowl. You're going to have a halftime show with Kendrick Lamar.
The World Cup.
If they can have Taylor Swift in the house because of the Kansas City Chiefs, no. Eric, to answer your question, I don't think the Bills have a shot because, as you see, time and time again, annoying as hell. CP, I know that's your team. I'm sorry, but it's annoying that they get the stupidest fucking calls.
Dude,
that they shouldn't be getting. Period.
Dude, they had like 2 favorable calls literally on Patrick Mahomes the other day.
Single game. Look, I get it. In the NFL, you can literally there could be a call in every single play. Somebody's always holding. Somebody's always doing something. I get it. So that's I do feel like the refs can dictate a game in the most. I guess in all of sports, they can dictate the game the most in the NFL. I understand that. It just sucks when you see it blatantly on TV. It's like, come on, man. Like, what is going on here? The Chiefs already have the perception that they get the most help from the refs, and you're continuing to do it. I want the Bills to win. I hope the Bills win. Maybe Vegas, throws us a swerve where they're like, hey, everyone thinks the Chiefs are going to win, and then here comes the Bills. I'd be happy. But I don't see it. I think the Chiefs are going to win. I think there's going to be more calls, and the Chiefs are going to end up winning.
So what you're saying is the Bills cover, right? Oh, they're favorites this weekend, aren't they?
I mean, they're the better team. They're the better team.
They are the better team.
The stacks are it's stacked against them, man. Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, like they find a ways to win. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Chiefs only win because of the refs. They're a great team, but when you have calls like that,
they know how to win.
Be over and over and over. It's like they're gonna get bailed out every single time.
Yeah, 100%. And over here, I mean, and on the NFC side, I don't know what's more impressive, what the Commanders are doing,
100%,
or how. What's the word I'm trying to look for?
Commanders, 100%.
Commanders, 100%. The Eagles don't scare you whatsoever.
Yeah, look, the Eagles are doing it without the help of Jalen Smith.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. I don't know where I'm at. Jalen Smith. Oh my God. Jaden Smith, Jaden Carter, it's too many of the same names. Jalen Hurts. They're doing it without spectacular play from the quarterback position from Jalen Hurts. Saquon Barkley is as advertised, man. Like, that guy is literally probably the best pickup in the offseason next to Derrick Henry. I mean, it's been amazing what he's been able to do. But at the same time, nobody expected the Commanders to be here. It's crazy. Once you change the ownership, you get a new GM, new head coach, new quarterback. It's like everything is going right for them. I'm so happy for those fans. I'm jealous at the same time because I would love for that to be us. It does make you think, like, damn, did we get the right quarterback sometimes? I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like that's just the toxicity in me. You know what I mean? But yeah, nobody expected them to beat the Lions the way they did. Nobody expected them to be here. I still think the Eagles are going to win. So that's me disrespecting the Commanders, and they can come out and win. But yeah, 100%. That's to answer your question. They're the biggest surprise. They're the biggest improvement, impressive, whatever the question was. It's them.
It does make you wonder, right? It does make you wonder if you have like you said, an organizational change. What could it do to an organization? Getting everything brand new, new GM, new head coach, new everything, right? Again,
New owner,
like you
Eric.
said,
New owner.
Dan Quinn, head coach previous, new owner, everything, right? You get the whole nine, right? Well, again, you get a new GM who brings in a new head coach, who brings in a new quarterback at that time, who brings in a failed head coach but a great offense coordinator and Cliff Kingsbury, and it has helped. It has helped the Commanders to be where they're at today. They look good. I'm not going to take anything away from the Commanders, right? But you have to have that question of like whether they look really good or the Lions really blew that away, because you can actually have both sides of that argument and both arguments actually being true. That the Lions kind of threw that game away, no pun intended, with Jared Goff throwing 2 interceptions, a third interception by Jameson Williams, and it just felt like the Lions had the perfect opportunity to finally have home field advantage, finally having an opportunity to go to the NFC title game, finally to be the most scariest team to come out of the NFC division, just for the Lions to lion. You know what I mean? And I know it's weird to say that, but the Lions just lined, and everybody was just excited to see the Detroit Lions be something different and having that Cinderella story for a team who looked dominant throughout the whole entire season. But for everything that you just said, Jose, I feel like you got the Commanders in the Super Bowl.
No,
right?
No, I got the Eagles. If it was up to me, it'd be the Eagles, Bills. But like I said, I don't
rematch of 2 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago, or 3 years ago.
It has to be a rematch. I mean, look, if we see if the Commanders make it, it'd be the first time ever that a rookie quarterback is in the Super Bowl. Yeah, which is crazy. But I don't know, man. Crazy. I think the Chiefs win it. I think the Chiefs beat the Bills. I think the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, unless it's the Eagles. I feel like the Eagles are the only team here that can beat them because of their defense, because how well Saquon Barkley's been playing. If Jalen Hurts can just do whatever the bare minimum, whatever he can do,
the bare minimum.
I think they have a shot. I do think they have a shot. But yeah, man, I don't know. If it's the Commanders, I don't think they have a shot at all.
So you'll have Commanders and the Bills in the Super Bowl. I'm just writing that down right now. Hold
Bills, on. Eagles.
Bills, Eagles. Bills, Eagles is your hopeful one, right?
Bills, Eagles is what I want. What I see is Chiefs, Eagles.
But what you see is the Chiefs versus the Eagles. Cool. I'm not going to be
for the refs, Eric. I think take the refs out of it. Bills win.
It's crazy that we're having that conversation too. Like you feel like you see it, you feel it, and you know it's going to happen. That the Bills might get screwed over by the refs in Kansas City. It being in Kansas City. And I guess the positive side of it, though, is that the Bills are the only team that has beaten the Kansas City Chiefs this past year or this season. So it's kind of like one of those situations to where it's like, okay, it could probably happen again. You're right. The Bills are the better team. To me, the Bills are the better. To me, the Ravens were the best team in the AFC. Again, mistakes killed the Baltimore Ravens yesterday against the Bills.
They were hurt too. They were hurt. They, other than Mark Andrews. I mean, it's tough. You don't have Zay Flowers. You don't have Hollywood Brown.
No. and you took the team who outside of the Lions probably had the second best offense and the best offense in the AFC. You took them down to the wire, held them to 21 points, and that was it. That was game. That was it was there. It was there. It was there. They were in there throughout the whole entire game, and unfortunately, that's how the NFL is. And I know the question is going to go circulate, Jose, and let's have this conversation. But do you think, how should I say this? How should I ask this? You think Lamar Jackson chokes in the big time games?
No, I think he did great. He put that team literally. He drove them down. He scored a touchdown to win the game or to tie the game. They just needed a 2-point conversion that was dropped by his tight end, but it was right on the money. Lamar Jackson did everything he could. Don't get me wrong; like there was some mistakes there, but he still put him in the position to at least tie the game. And he was failed by his tight end. Mark Andrews is a great player, but you catch that ball, man. Otherwise, you're out. You're at home, and that's what happened. I don't blame him. I don't blame Lamar at all.
Yeah, I know. I don't either. Even with his miscues, his fumble, his interception, he put that team on his back. He carried that team all the way as far as he could. He got him there. He got him there. He actually got him there. No matter how you face it, he got him there. But you're right. It's the supporting cast that this time failed Lamar Jackson, and it just sucks. It just sucks to see a team lose in that way, in that fashion. I know we would have been gutted and devastated if the Bears would have lost that way too. But also, bro, at the same time, you just look at all the teams that were playing this past weekend, and you could just tell it's night and day between the Chicago Bears and the teams that were playing in the playoffs this year in the divisional round, and definitely that's going to play in the championship game this upcoming weekend. So,
I mean, yeah, if you look at, what's the one thing you can say about each and every single one of that team, Eric? They have great coaching. Every single one of them. Dan Campbell.
They got great quarterback play. They all got great quarterbacks. Great.
So do we. But so do we, and that's what I'm saying. Like, but so do we. We have a great quarterback too, right? At least we think we do. Right. But the consistent part of each and every one is the coaching. You have Jim Harbaugh. You have Andy Reid. You have Doug McDermott. Just in the AFC side alone, and who did the Chiefs go against? The Texans. I mean, DeMeco Ryan is a good coach. I mean, he got them there for a reason. They won last week when nobody thought they would because of his game plan. And then the other side, the coach for the, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name for the Eagles.
Stefanski.
No, Eagles. Soriano, somewhat. But him.
It's Stefanski.
No, Stefanski was the Browns.
Oh, Nick Sirianni, you're right.
Yes, Nick Sirianni.
You're right.
Nick Sirianni for the Eagles, Dan Quinn for the Commanders, Sean McVay for the Rams, and then Dan Campbell for the Lions. It's all coaching. It's all coaching. That's why it's key. You have to have good coaching, and hopefully the Bears finally have that now that could help us get where these teams were this year.
To the edge.
Yeah,
man. I know. Wishful thinking, wishful hope. It's something that I wish on my birthday that the Chicago Bears become successful. You know what I mean? It's the only thing I ask. But it is what it is, man. Jose got the Bills Eagles in the Super Bowl. I do too. I think that should be the game. I don't think the Chiefs can make it this year via the refs, without the refs' help. And yeah, the Bears got a new head coach. I think we're all excited. Ben Johnson is now the head coach of the Chicago Bears. The Bears finally made a big boy move, and it's a big boy change for the Chicago Bears. Something to be excited about, something to look forward to this upcoming season, and a very tough schedule, to say the least. They just got to make the right moves. Coaching staff and draft picks, free agency, they need to make the moves. They have $70 million in cap space to upgrade that team. Ryan Poles is on his last leash. I think 2 years left on that contract. I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, this is, it's make it or break it for the Chicago Bears, and it's a lot of pressure.
I don't know about that. I think he stays a little bit longer now that they have Ben Johnson. I don't think Ben Johnson comes in here, I think they made him some guarantees like, hey, if we're gonna hire you, we're gonna extend Poles. Maybe they haven't probably announced it. They probably won't announce it. I don't know. But at the same time, I don't think Ben Johnson comes here with a GM who's on his last leg.
No, for sure. We'll see. It's a wait and see. But it's all positive from the Chicago Bears, fan base, from us, from Windy City Underground. We're all excited to have Ben Johnson as the new head coach. It feels right. It feels right. Chicago Bears finally got it right. It feels right. We got the head coach to match with Caleb Williams. It should have been last year, but it is this year. And we are going to move on, march forward, and go forward. And Jose, just to let you know, bro, it don't look good for Notre Dame right now. As they're down 14-7 on the championship game in the second quarter. So
14-7 still it's still there, man.
I got them to cover, so hopefully they cover. But right now they're covering.
Hey, look,
I got them at 8.5. So
it's a competitive game. So
we will let you guys know when the next show is here on Windy City Underground. For Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. Look out for more content from us. TikTok is back, so we will probably be posting a little bit more. Reels will be up. Make sure you guys also follow our Spotify channel to get our podcast. If you miss our show live, you can hear us on Spotify too as well. Follow us there, like us there, follow and share all our shows on Facebook and also on YouTube. Like, subscribe our channels. And yeah, for Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. The Bears got it right. The Bears fucking got it right. And they got our head coach. We will see you guys next week. We guys keep you posted on this wrestling podcast that we were talking about last show. So keep on the lookout for there.
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, we're in the ring right now. It's pretty that's interesting.
So we'll see how it goes. For CP, thank you for joining us. Everybody watching us, thank you for joining us. Paulina, everybody, my sister, for sharing the show. Thank you guys for stopping by, showing the show, showing us love, support. We will see you guys next week to break down the Super Bowl and break down more Bears news if we get anything. For that, I'm Eric Avila, Jose Contreras. Jose, take us out, bro.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
He's running like he's got a lobster down his pants, showing that he is as slippery as a bar of soap. Like poop through a diarrhea-infected goose.
Commented about it. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take this serious. I'm real serious. I put my heart and soul into this every single week.
Are we done here?
It's about time.